What's up, guys? Welcome to a new show that I had created called the Vampy Book Club. Welcome to the Vampy Book Club. We're gonna be going over Vampy One with one of my friends here, Delman, that you guys always see in our chats on Double Tigers. Now you get to see him in person. Oh wait,
What's
hold on.
up, yo? What up?
Yeah. So here's Delman for you. So
The only deli man.
yeah. So Delho actually got himself a Vampy One, just like I did.
Real.
And then so we were talking about I've been talking about doing this for forever. So and I finally got a partner in crime to actually do it with. So
Exactly.
finally got a partner in crime to do this with, because I had this idea for forever. I just couldn't figure out how to get the old school magazines onto the computer. And I found some place that actually sold the whole run. So I'm like, why not? $4. Bought it, and now we can do some fun read-alongs, or explaining what the cover, how the covers came to be, and how her origin story now. So we're gonna look at Vampy One. So here's Vampy One. Vampy One, everybody knows, famous cover, Frank Frazetta's cover. But the whole story goes is they're not sure if the annual cover was actually a rejected cover of issue one, this one. So they're not actually sure if that was the actually rejected cover, because I read up some more since we were gonna do this.
Mhm.
I read up on it. So what my belief, they believe this was a rejected cover. What my belief is, and how Sarah tells us the stories all the time about how Frank was, I'm thinking this was a backup cover. Being honest, that's what I think. My honest opinion. But you know, lost in time, so nobody actually knows if this was the actual cover. And then some people were saying if Frank actually took inspiration from this cover for the bat wings on this one. You see how the bat wings on the moon?
Yeah, it's like almost like a little shadow around the
Yeah,
hips. Yeah,
yeah. And then you see how she has a little shit, like almost wings like that.
yeah, it's a little bit darker on this one. Yep.
Right, but they're not sure if he got inspired by this one, or if he saw, like, if Warren sent it to him, like, for reference or something.
Mhm.
Or nobody knows. There's because a lot of this stuff is lost in time, and the only person that would know, James Warren, is still here. A bunch of the creators are already passed, you know what I mean, on her. So Frank's gone. And then funny fact about the, like, I've told all of you guys out there about this, but a lot of people believe it was guys that created the whole thing of her. Come to find out, it was Trina Robbins that created the outfit on her. So
Oh,
Trina actually, yeah,
I never
and
knew
so
that.
Trina, yeah, so Trina Robbins walked into her in New York, walked into James Warren's offices and actually talked to Joe Warren for a job. And Warren goes, well, you don't you don't have the talent just yet to be on on our staff or whatever. Lo and behold, somebody calls, and take a guess who calls. Frank calls, talking about what this outfit's supposed to look like, blah 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 blah. So Trina overhears them talking about this. So he's explaining the outfit. Trina is sitting there sketching this outfit. Shows it to Warren. Warren hands her the phone and goes, "Here, explain this to Frank." So she's explaining it to Frank. So for Zeta, and he ends up painting this thing. Warren gets it. Warren loves it. But the issue was, these are stories from Sarah. They had arguments about brunette, blonde, brunette, blonde, brunette, blonde. Frank wanted blonde. Warren wanted brunette. So I'm glad they went brunette but Frank got his wish in issue 2, and we'll talk about that next week when we go to issue 2.
Right.
But the biggest thing was, and then guess what? Trina never got paid for it about creating the outfit. She got a lifetime. What you get? Take a guess what she got. A lifetime member or a lifetime subscription to Vamp. I think it was only to Vampies, or I think it was to everything, or I think it was just to Vampies. I think. So imagine you creating the damn outfit for this character and then not getting the recognition, and you're just getting a lifetime subscription. That's like you creating the purple shorts off the Hulk, like you're one of your favorite characters, and going, "Hey, here's a lifetime subscription to Hulk."
To Hulk, no cash, no nothing, no recognition. That's it. Lifetime.
Yeah, well, she finally got recognized towards the later years, like people figuring out and finding out, because if you see the outfit originally how she had it, it wasn't that small. The boob window was a little smaller. The boob window was a little smaller, and it was one piece pretty much.
Oh, got it. And did it cover up the belly and a little bit more too?
Yeah, it covered the belly. It covered a lot of it, and then it only had a small little boob window.
I got it.
I guess Frank was upset about it, so Frank kept on shrinking. I think he kept on putting drafts in, like it kept on getting smaller, and then it finally landed on this.
Well, now it's the Vampirella that we all know and love, right?
Well, glad you said that, because now we can jump into the issue now. So this thing here, this little pencil sketch here, I believe it's by Frank. I believe it is, because I've seen this sketch before in Sarah in the museum and stuff, and the prints and stuff. I believe it is. So this is another sketch interior wise. That's his. So that's kind of cool. And then we can read off the names that are on this issue. Publisher, James Warren, and then cover art, Frank Frazetta. And then one name that I found out when I first started collecting her was Neil Adams.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, that surprised me a lot. Neil Adams, Tom Sutton, Mike Royer. I actually met Mike Royer, so when we go into issue 2 next week, I'll show you guys the picture where I actually met Mike, and Mike was actually really cool. So, and had really a lot of funny stories. So, and then but it's a lot of big time artists that are bigger now. Like Neil Adams was at that time was probably just getting up there, about not there yet.
He's just starting. Those early days of Neil Adams, yeah,
early days of Neil Adams,
yeah.
And then when we get the introduction to Vampirella origin, Lady in the bath, and we don't know that's her yet, but all we know is, she's taking a normal. We think it's a normal bath, but it's actually blood. She's taking a bath in. So, yeah, and then she's being a little cutesy, but like how you were saying with the famous outfit and everything, guess what? Tom Sutton draws it, and we don't get this outfit yet. We get this famous interior panel of Vampirella Draculon, and it says story by Forrest J. Ackerman, and then story by Tom Sutton, or art by Tom Sutton. So this is cartoony kind of, but that's not what Warren wanted originally. This is not what he actually wanted. He actually didn't like this story.
Well, why didn't he like the story? What was about the story?
It was too, like, if like me and you've actually read it, so it's because it's a science fiction writers that's writing it. and it's not as serious. It's more science fictiony to him.
Got
It was way too, I guess, uh, put it in simple terms, corny.
it.
Yeah, put it in simple terms. It was a little too corny for people for Warren. He didn't like it, but and then we didn't get to like her serious stuff until like probably like issue 5-ish, or until like later. So and then we get introduced to Draculon back here. So this is Draculon, and it's the planet is made of blood, or you know how Earth is, water.
Right.
So her planet is up made of blood, and then we get introduced to her flying around and then if you look, the outfit's not it's not the iconic outfit. It's almost
Right.
like a bell bottoms and a little top.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like almost like she's wearing like leggings.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. See, if you look at it, it's not the actual outfit.
Yeah, it's very different. Yeah.
Yeah, very different. And then she can't, because at the time the story goes, the story on right now is saying, Draculon's blood would dried up and stuff, and then she sees astronauts. And then earthlings, since our veins flow with their water source.
Right. So we're like pretty much like giant water balls in a way.
Yeah, it's pretty much giant water bottles for her to drink. So it's kind of funny, but like I said, it's because he didn't like it, because if you look at it, it looks B movie ish. It looks like science fiction-y. That's what he didn't want originally. And then
considering when the book was published in 1969, it's kind of like almost like that late 60s, 70s B movie type of stuff.
Yeah, style too.
Yeah,
the way
style.
but if you look at who wrote it, James Warren, but my bad. Forrest J. Ackerman that wrote it.
Yeah.
Forrest J was a science fiction writer. So that's what you're gonna get. And then Sutton was just not like, Sutton wasn't there yet. He wasn't known yet. This is when he was coming up at the time. So young Tom Sutton. So like you can like if you look at the art, it's not, you know what I mean? If you actually look at the art, it's not bad. It's just too, I guess, like I said, layman's terms, a little corny, and then a little too cartoony for his feeling, Warren's feeling at the time. But it's pretty,
The art's not bad. That's like I think the art, because it just reminds me of other comics from that period.
Right. It reminds you of comics of that period, and then it's talking, you know what I mean? And it's talking about her, about her origin story. It's like, a spaceship crashes onto a planet, but it's onto a vampire's planet on top of that, Draculon. So it's kind of neat, you know what I mean? And then it shows, and then this is the last panel of her origin on this one, and it shows you her flying the plane to don't know where she's going next, and there's a bunch of like you said, water bottles.
So see them like in like like a containers in a way, or
so they're pretty much in cryostasis, pretty much type deal. So and then the next issue, then you find out more about it, and then the next couple issues, she's at, so the first issue, she's more like a Elvira type. She introduces stories to you guys. Right. So this is the next story by another these things are like Tales from the Crypt and stuff. There's other little mini stories in here that talk about like a boat, like a siren on a boat, so it's like stuff like that, like you said, horror movie type stuff. Yeah. And then this one is another one, like, and she's up there introducing the story. So it's like, You know what I mean? Her introducing the story, and here's the Neil Adams story. This is the Neil Adams stuff. Goddess of the Sea. Yeah. And this is supposed the guy character is supposed to be based off of Neil.
Really? Huh, interesting.
Yeah, so if you look at it, it looks a little like young Neil Adams.
Yeah.
So yeah, see.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he uses his reference a lot, but I didn't know that. And then I looked at the art. I'm like, oh shit. When I first got the reprint and I looked at it, I'm like, oh, okay. So now I understood why he signed the Vampy ones. I saw a bunch of them with his his signature on it. I'm like,
I didn't know that he was in Vampy One. I've after researching some of the other Vampirella magazines, it was like, or some of the other just Warren Publishing stuff that he's been in plenty of other books, but I didn't know he was in. He drew in.
You and me both. I didn't know that when I first started collecting it, and I'm like, oh shit, why the what in my head, like I'm like, why the F did he sign these books? Because I didn't know nothing. Lo and behold, he had the story in it.
Very cool.
Yeah, but it's pretty much like stories about like it. Dude, it's actually nice to actually see him draw stuff not Superman related and not superhero related. It's actually kind of cool to see stuff before him drawing superhero stuff.
Yeah, before he started getting into drawing for DC and all that.
Yeah, like this type of stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, and then this is the last of the end of the issues, almost. Yeah, see, and then it's pretty much she introduces stuff, and then we get into the annual, like another story. You know what I mean? So it's like other stories into and then famous monsters of Filmland. That's that's another set of his, and then another set, and then the books. If the young kids are looking at this is how you ordered our comics back then. Mail away stuff.
Yeah, mail away stuff. Yeah.
So this is you would post it, like a lot of this stuff, like right about like
decades.
Then you would
the internet decades.
Yeah, like the creepies. That's how you would order it. Cause you see the little box on the bottom where would select them and then freaking put your address on it.
Yeah, cut it out, put it in an envelope, and sometimes they'll put like a money order or a check in there, and
mail it away, and then you get a nice creased up book in the mailbox.
There was no stiff mailers back then either, so it's like I put in there.
No, there was there were no Geminis back then.
Yeah, no Gemini mailers.
yeah, I can imagine how small those boxes were. Some of those boxes were back then too. And then here's some more stories, and you can see she's in the corner introducing the stories, or like Elvira was. She doesn't get her own little thing until later issues.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then we can go over this one because the annual, because this is the actual story that he wanted. And then you see it says reboot. So everybody thinks reboot is a new thing. Reboots has been around for forever. Reboots has been around since the 70s. Yeah, so reboots has been around since the 70s. And you know what I mean? And this cover, I can understand why he didn't like it. It doesn't call back to this one. You know what I mean? It doesn't call back to compared to this one.
Right.
It pulls your attention. This one is a little dull.
Right.
But if you really say it, compared to Frazetta's other stuff, this is kind of tame compared to his other stuff.
Yeah, so to his paintings, because this is how I first seen Vampirella. I didn't know anything about the magazines.
Right.
It was like when I first started collecting comics. There's one shop I was going to, like in the mid '90s.
Right.
There was like a set of cards, trading cards. You probably remember.
I remember those.
Yeah,
I remember those.
That set, it was like, I'll say mid to late '90s when that was released.
Right.
I collected some of those, and that the Frazetta cover is what I was, familiar with,
Right.
and I had that, and there was like I had a couple versions of that card where one of them was
Right.
like a glow in the dark, the moon
Right.
grew in
Right.
the
Right.
dark or something, and there was like a regular one. So that's all I knew of it, but I didn't know
Right.
that. I really didn't know much. I just thought, it's a cool set of
Yeah.
cards.
And
Cool
then the
looking.
funniest thing was when Frank got this picture back, when he got the main painting back, he was so pissed about the outfit, he
Yeah.
took the damn outfit off of it. And then when they went to Sotheby's for auction, well, the rumor goes, how Sarah says, the rumor goes that he said if the person that buys the painting, if they want us to paint the outfit back on her, he's more than willing to paint the outfit back on her. But they never said they wanted the outfit painted back on her. I think like Sarah only knows this is a rumor, but I believe the person did want it, and Frank's stubborn, so Frank goes no.
It's a true artist. He's a true artist.
Yeah. Because he was the one that created he was the one that created the character, but not the outfit.
Right.
So you know what I mean? So that's probably why he pulled it off of her, and redefined it.
Yeah.
But and then so we can get into this one. Ashel, the artist's name is Ashland. I forget his first name, but they know him as Ashland. And I mean, honestly, this cover doesn't pull you at all.
No.
I mean, at least this one, I mean, her boob's a lot bigger in this one. That one.
Yeah.
but it doesn't pull your attention as much as Frank's does.
Right. Yeah, kind of like going back to what you were saying earlier. I don't know. I think it was like, yeah, it may have been that the cover for the annual, maybe that was the original idea, but they wanted Frazetta to do the cover. But from what you know with Sarah, with Sarah Frazetta, the granddaughter, and what I've learned, even when listening to Robert Rodriguez talk about Frank Frazetta, that tend to wait till like rush the projects last minute.
Right. So I'm thinking, I don't think this was a rejected cover. I think this was a cover for a backup just in case this one didn't make it.
Yeah, just in case if Frank Frazetta didn't make it on by the deadline.
Right, because if you read, there's a book out about all the covers, and the actual thing says, well, we don't know for sure what what exactly, if this was a rejected cover or what. But my belief, and hearing stories from Sarah, hearing stories from Rodriguez and everybody about Frank, and hearing all Frank's friends talk about how Frank is, I believe if this was a backup cover, being honest, I believe that I wouldn't doubt this was a backup cover just in case this one didn't make it in time to print, just in case.
Yeah, I think so too. That's just going off of everybody's stories about speaking about Frank. It's like that this cover right here is a backup,
right?
Just in case Frank didn't make the deadline.
Yeah, make the cut. Yeah, make the deadline. But so if we look at the story, if we look at the origin story again on this one, since it's the annual, since he had them redo it, he had freaking Warren had these guys redo it. Had Jose Gonzalez and had J.R. Cochran redo this story. Mm-hmm. The story's a little more serious now, and a little more, to the point. It's a little more serious, talking about it instead of a little, B movie-esque. It's a little more serious to this point.
Right.
And then if you look at it, Gonzalez is known for his women. We can tell.
Yeah.
We can tell. And then it shows you she can morph into a bat and whatever, but it tells you her almost similar, but little changes here and there of her origin. Not much, just little teeny tiny bits of changes. Like she only goes after bad people. You know what I mean? Like if you look at Gonzalez's art, compared to what we saw originally here. You know what I mean? Compared to this,
right?
Compared to this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's a very different. It's not like it's not
Right.
like that comic book style from the
Right.
from issue 1. It's a different style. Yeah.
Right. It's a different style, and that's how I fell in love with Gonzalez's art. Was this type of like seeing this type of stuff and seeing his other issues. Like
So it's very like even if you go back to the page you just changed from.
this one.
So the top panel of Vampirella. Yeah, it says it's a little bit more, I guess more like almost like a like a graphic novel in a way.
Yeah.
So
because that's what the annual was. That was pretty much what the annuals were was collected editions of all the other stories that were in the book. So like that, you know what I mean? Like this, like her going after the boar on this corner here. I know this thing's in the way, but there's a boar and and she's going after a boar. Like it's almost Adam and Eve-esque when if you read the annual. It's almost Adam and Eve-esque, like the character, you know, the male character and her. It's almost like Adam and Eve. And if you actually look, I believe they get homage Frank in here somewhere. If you actually look at one of these panels, that they actually painted like a little bat on her boob.
All right.
So the main reason they did that was to see if the publisher or since Gonzalez has a boss, to see if his boss would catch it.
Mm-hmm.
To see if his boss would catch it, and every time they would do it, it would go to print, and then the boss wouldn't say nothing. But like, yeah, so it's pretty much the same exact story. It's just little changes. Like she's a little more mean in this one. You know what I mean? She's a little more. If you attack her, she'll attack you. You know what I mean? It's like, so yeah. But just by looking at Gonzalez's style, it's way different. Like you see her in the corner here, that's way different compared to the cartoon style that was Sutton's.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little bit more. It's like in a way, it's like I guess slightly more detailed instead of the like the issue 1 of the magazine where it's like a more comic book style.
Yeah, like this.
This like that exactly, like kind of cartoon.
Because I wouldn't, being honest, I wouldn't mind seeing the cosplayers actually trying to cosplay this one, interior. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to actually see cosplayers trying to do the homage to Sutton's interior covers. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing some of these interiors done, as cosplay homages.
Yeah. You get your favorite cosplayer to do it.
Oh yeah, Faces by Richie. Yeah. And then see if you see it like compared to that's like she actually looks like a human person. You know what I mean? She don't look cartoony as much.
Right. Yeah. So it's a little bit more detailed. Even like the one panel here that's top to the right, where it's biting into the guy's neck. It's a little bit more detailed too. So it's very cool.
Yeah, this stuff is way more detailed. Like if you look, my favorite panel of his of this cut of these panels is this one right here of her right up in this corner here.
Yeah, the top panel there.
Yeah, top panel, and then this one, this lower panel.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, even the top panels, because even the shading around the face is like it's more like almost like a portrait in a way, like being drawn out. So
and then like the three panels with her on them. I really like how Gonzalez, draws her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's a great artist too. He's a very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy his artwork here. As I'm seeing, I'm enjoying his artwork quite a bit.
Yeah. You're enjoying it, and then I guess, like I said, Warren enjoyed it too. I enjoyed it so much, had him redo the freaking origin. Had them redraw the origin.
Yeah, because this wasn't the only issue that Gonzalez did, right? There were others.
No, Gonzalez did a bunch. Gonzalez did from, I think his first issue was like 12, I think 12 or 13. Yeah, either 11 or 12. One of those issues is his first couple of issues.
Right.
Yeah, but like if we go back to this, well, Forrest J. Ackerman liked this cover so much, he actually had another artist do a rendering of this one. Had another artist draw it and actually drew her sister Draculina on it. So there's a Frank Frazetta painting out there, and there's a Forrest J. Ackerman painting that he owned. There is her sister on that cover.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if Forrest J has kids or anything, and I don't know if they sold that painting or not. But there's stories that went around that Forrest J liked that cover so much, they had another artist redo that cover for him. And so there's a cover out there. So there's a painting out there of Draculina, of a blonde Draculina, what like this.
And this is like a painting that Frazetta did, right? No,
Frank didn't do it. No, Frank didn't do it. But I'm saying Forrest J liked Frank's painting so much that he had another artist actually copy it or redo it. I believe. I've never seen the painting. It's just stories and rumors from books that I've read about the Vampy lore. You know what I mean? So I read up. If you guys don't know, I like her a lot. You are
the Vampirella guy. So yeah, as far as all my friends that are comic collectors, you're the guy I go to.
Yeah. The Vampy expert, like everybody likes to say.
Exactly. You're heck, even with like anything else that was a Warren Publishing related, you're the guy I have gone to. So,
yeah, pretty much anything that's to do with Warren, I pretty much enjoy, like Gonzalez. You know what I mean? Like this art, man. It's like the end all be all. There's nothing like it. Even don't get me wrong, Perillo's cool, but if Perillo can actually do interiors like this, that would be kind of cool. You know what I mean? But I know he's a great cover guy, but I don't know if he can do interiors. You know what I mean? It'd be nice to see somebody else do interiors, like this type of interior. Like I haven't seen any Vampy art, you know, in now that look anything like this yet. Still, I would like to see somebody that takes over from Gonzalez's style. I would love it, but now it's digital, so it's a little harder for them to do that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's
unfortunate. It's gone away from the whole pencil and ink, unfortunately.
And then what the funniest thing about Gonzalez was Gonzalez only knew how to do color pencils, only knew how to color. You know, he didn't know how to use other mediums to paint or nothing like that. But a lot of people love his poster of her with the bat. A lot of people don't know Inridge, his friend Inridge, actually painted it.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
So Inridge actually painted that painting. So when we go to issue 19, I'll tell the story a little more. But when we go to issue 19, eventually, but this thing is gonna be every week or bi-weekly, depending on how me and Del feel about doing it every week. Because it's 113 issues, so so either we'll do two issues each show, or me and you will talk about it, but we'll either do two issue each show to make it easier, or either we'll do one either whatever you guys like in the chat and when you guys watch it on the rewind. What do you guys want to see? If you guys want to see more old school stuff for us to talk, like the magazines to talk about, or if you want me to talk about the new run, we can. You know what I mean? It's depending on whatever you guys want me to talk about. But for right now, I'm going to be talking about the old school magazines, since me and Del have the magazines.
Yes, we have the magazines.
Yeah. So it'd be easier for us to talk about. But the newer stuff, some of the 90s stuff me and Del can talk about, because you have some of the 90s stuff.
Yeah, I have a few of those. Yeah.
So we can always pick an issue and we can go, hey, let's talk about this one. This is what Vampy Book Club's going to be. I'm going to tell you a little bit of the history about the issue, a little history about stories about the covers and all this stuff. We're not just going to talk about the issue, but this idea came from actually John's Comics with Kids, X-Men talk, and everybody else is the. But I've had this idea for a while, but some of the other community members gave me a little push, like G-Man, Robert, everybody's been pushing me to do more vampy stuff. So I'm doing more vampy stuff. Happy.
Yeah, you're the vampy guy, of course. You have to do more vampy.
Yeah. So I'm doing more vampy stuff. But you know what I mean? Gonzalez's art is like that panel of her face, crying with the crescent moon, earrings and stuff. It's different. It's still there's still nobody styled. It's that style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in books, it's like nothing in books. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
From for as long as I can remember, and I started collecting comics, probably in the mid to late '90s. So
right.
Yeah, I just don't remember anybody drawing like that, like Gonzalez.
Yeah, there's still nobody like Gonzalez. Gonzalez was one of a kind, like Frazetta was one of a kind.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah. I mean, look at that stuff, man. It's like, don't get me wrong. I like some of the new guys. Don't get me wrong. I like a lot of the new guys, but I understand it's a little quicker if I do it digitally. It comes, you know what I mean? I can make deadlines. I understand that part too. But because these guys were famous and did not make deadlines, because another one that's just like Frank, this guy, Gonzalez was just like him. So a lot of stories go, because I've had the Gonzalez biography book too, and how they were saying he liked to go out and party a lot and didn't like to finish his work. So what I've seen is a lot of great artists. A lot of great artists are slackers.
Yeah, I kind of think that. I think it's just an artist mentality. They kind of
right.
March to the beat of their own drum.
And plus it's gonna flow out of me anyways, no matter what time I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that they're all very unique people. It's like one of my favorite painters is Salvador Dali. He's a very unique guy.
Right.
So, and then when I learning about Frank Frazetta, he's a unique guy for himself too.
Dude, they're every one of these guys are unique. Like everything.
So
dude, all the good ones.
Yeah, all the really good ones and the good ones that are popular. It's like, man,
right.
They're just unique people, and it just I'll paint what I paint, and I'll paint how I feel, and it'll come out when it comes out because it means something. It means something.
Right. So this is pretty much the last panel of Gonzalez's that he did of Vampy. I mean, compared to a lot of the stuff, man, it's different.
Yeah. No, it's great artwork. I love it.
Yeah. Like compared to anything else, I mean, so it's like nobody can draw her like he can, man.
Yeah, so. It just kind of looks like some of the the graphic, the graphic novels from that period,
Right.
Yeah, because
now we get into other stories, like other little stories that people loved, and then they collected into the annuals. So these were, so.
Now with the annuals, Vampirella annual. Okay, so were these stories already published in other issues, and they just republished them?
Yep, they were already published in other issues. Like there's a couple. I think these couple of stories were published in the couple of issues, like different issue. Like a lot of these stories were in different issues. Like, but you see, she's still the hostess.
Yeah, like the bottom. Yeah, like in the bottom panel there.
Yeah. So like she's a horror host pretty much through issue 1 to 1 to 6 or 1 to 5, something like that.
Right.
She's a host, and then she finally becomes her own character
Right.
in like 9, 10, and on from there. And then that's they finally figured out what they wanted her to be, was like issue 9, I think,
Almost
or
kind
like
of, yeah, it's kind of like Elvira
mhm.
and
She
like
yeah when she first started, like an Elvira type.
yeah,
So
Crypt Keeper
she'll
for Tales
introduce
from the
this,
Crypt.
yeah, she'll introduce the story to you, like Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, yeah, because
So
wasn't like in the
Uncle Creepy was the same
yeah,
way.
yeah, I was about to say,
Uncle
yeah, Uncle Creepy
Uncle
from the
Creepy was the same way, and then and Frank had a hand in drawing Uncle Creepy, same way he had
right,
a hand in drawing Vampy.
right.
So James Warren loved Frank's the work,
Yeah,
but
because I was
Sarah
uh,
said, they
yeah.
don't he don't like to pay really much.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah,
But
usually.
he had the gift of gab.
Yeah,
But
usually. Yeah, because I was going through some of the creepy stuff that I have in I
yeah,
noticed the Uncle Creepy was like this, like the
yeah,
playing as a host. Yeah,
yeah. But the Eries and all that
the
stuff
years.
is
Yeah,
same thing. But they all had horror. Like I said, look, it's a reprint. It's
right.
pretty much a reprint.
Yeah, yeah.
Annuals are pretty much a reprint.
So they just collect all the more popular
Yeah, all
stories.
the popular stories. Like Neil Adams one was a popular story because, dude, this is way different from Neil's superhero stuff.
Right.
If you look at it, it's way different.
Yeah, very. Yeah, because you can see how you because
Yeah,
here in this story,
yeah,
it was a little bit more detailed.
right.
And its art style is very different in
But he
comparison
probably
to
had more time at the time
yeah,
too. He probably had way more time at the time too. It's not like
yeah. Deadlines are
because
different. Yeah,
right deadlines are different, or they let him take his time. You know, when compared to like what his Superman stuff looked like and what his all that other stuff looked like. This is way different from his stuff.
yeah,
And look how different he made Vampy look. That's
yeah,
supposed to be Vampy in that corner.
yeah. The bottom corner. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. She looks a little bit more like exotic.
yeah, yeah. But like, see, here's another one. This is in. I think this is issue. I told you about this issue. I think it's 9, where it's Boris Vallejo in the corner, and then it's a Wally Wood story. So this is
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
This is the So
Wally
yeah,
Wood
this
story.
is
Yeah.
the cover based off of that cover.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So like you said, it collected all the fun. Yep. See, you see. So
Yes.
I believe it should tell you in the corner, in that dark corner. I think this is a uh, Wally Wood. I think.
Yeah, it's on the bottom. It says art by Wallywood story.
Yeah,
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 by
yeah.
Wallywood.
So this is Wally Wood. So just looking at Wally Wood stuff, that's another guy, another artist that I really like too.
Yeah, he's a very fun artist there.
Yeah, very eccentric too.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, but just by looking at his art, man, it's like
Yeah, it's like even this like caveman looking guy that draws here. It's like it's very cool.
yeah. But if, like I said, telling the guys in the chat, telling guys in the rewind, if you guys want us to go over the whole issue, we can. Or if because what me and Dell were thinking, we're just going over the Vampy stories, and that was it. But if you guys want us to go over the whole issue, we can. But that's up to you guys. What you guys want. You guys need to let us know in the chat. Let us know in the bottom of the wherever, on my Instagram, on when I tell you guys we're having a Vampy book club again. You guys let me know what you guys want to see, and we'll try to make it happen.
Exactly. Yeah. Y'all can
Yeah,
find me
we'll try to.
you can find me on Instagram too at DelimanDS. So
Yeah. So this is pretty much what it's gonna entail. Pretty much, we're gonna talk about the issue. We're gonna talk about stories that I've heard or I've read in books and stuff about issues, about certain issues and stuff like that. And what's going on?
hello.
Yeah, nice to see you. It's our Vampy Book Club today. Welcome to Vampy Book Club. Yeah, but like I said, this is pretty much Wally. The Wally Wood stuff is cool, man. It's like, you know what I mean. Like he inspired, like Wally Wood inspired Dave Stevens for Frazetta and another dude. They've inspired many artists, even Perillo. Perillo even said that he's been inspired by Frazetta. So a lot of people has been inspired by a lot of these artists.
Yeah, and like it wasn't long ago when I was listening to the one Joe Rogan podcast when he had Robert Rodriguez on.
Yeah, another like you would least expect.
Yeah,
a film person to be inspired by
a writer director,
right?
In films, everybody knows him for the
even Joe Rogan's inspired by Frazetta because Joe Rogan talks about it. So it's like,
yeah, exactly. They in that podcast. I feel like they went on for like a good 30 to 40 minutes about
just about Frazetta, and then guess what? And then name drop Sarah Frazetta. And if you guys don't know who Sarah is, Sarah's actually Frank's granddaughter. So that's it.
Which is very cool.
Well, if you guys are on my channel, you guys pretty much know where me and Sarah are pretty close. So
yeah. Definitely, you two are friends. You're friends of the family. So it's just very cool.
Yeah,
very cool. So,
but it's like hearing the stories and stuff. Like me and Dale were saying, hearing the stories and stuff. I do believe it is like I'm gonna pull those two covers up again, but I do believe this was a backup cover.
Right. Just in case Frank didn't make it on time.
Yeah, didn't make this cover in time. Everybody loves this cover, I understand, but can you just imagine? Yeah, but can you just imagine Frank not making it in time and Frank's cover being the annuals cover? You know, that's what would have happened if his cover didn't make it, and that cover would have made it on cover one. So you think the annual would be more expensive?
Yeah, exactly. But I say I think the annual would have been the most valuable book of the set
of the set, because imagine these two getting swapped. You know what I mean? Like he couldn't if he didn't make it, because like all the stories talking about Frank, all the stories talking about how he would do stuff last minute, and then reading up on these covers, hearing like the people going, we're not sure how, these are just hearsays and stories and stuff that they've heard, and they're saying, oh, we think this cover came first or whatever. I don't think that's what actually happened. What I think actually happened was James Warren had Ashland do this cover first, just in case Frank didn't make his deadline.
Yeah,
because I've heard stories from Sarah, I've heard stories from all, everybody that's known Frank, and like even Robert Rodriguez has said, like Robert Rodriguez painting. You heard that Dust Till Dawn.
It's like how
he was hoping the Dust Till Dawn it would have made it in time, so he could have had that one as Dust
as a promo poster, but as a movie poster. But no, it wasn't. It didn't come till like after.
So just hearing all those stories, but my thinking is this was the actual backup cover. It's just everybody saying, oh, this cover did come first, and then Warren saw it and didn't like it. I don't think that's what the story is. I think the story was worried about Frank not making it and going, hey, I might need a backup cover just in case.
Yeah, just in case this one didn't come up. So
yeah, but just in case that didn't come up. And then pretty much all these things are reprints. Everything in here is reprints.
Right.
All these are reprints of other issues.
Right.
Like if you look at it, all these are reprints of other issues. But in a later time, we're gonna go over the other issues.
Right.
But so we're gonna go over the other issues. But if you guys want us to go over the whole issue of issue 1, me and Del are just going over the Vampy origin story half. and that's it. But if you guys want us to go over Neil Adams' story, any of those other stories in this issue, or you want us to go over the whole issue, that's up to you guys. If you guys want us to, we can. But what me and Del were talking was we're gonna just go over the vampy halves of the stories, and then make it nice and fast, nice and quick, like a nice little quick show talking about this stuff. So that's up to you guys. You guys let us know.
Yeah, let us know if any feedback.
Any feedback to good feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you guys enjoyed it, this I'm gonna call it, because I haven't had no technical issues, and I don't want to pull an hour and a half and have freaking issues. So guys, see you guys next week. Next week is issue 2. Be prepared for issue 2, guys. If you guys have your own issues, you guys can always get the reprints and can follow along, or you guys can go to read what is it, or you guys can bootleg it. Up to you guys. But we may have guests. We may have other. I'm gonna work on try to get some cosplayers on here that actually cosplayer and actually like her stories and stuff, and seeing if they ever seen these issues before, and it'd be kind of cool to have them on. So I'll be working behind the scenes on this stuff. But so be sure to check in to our next episode of Vampy Book Club, issue 2. And maybe issue 3, depending on if you guys want us to go over the whole issues. But we'll see you guys later. And I'll see you guys on Double Tigers and Vampy Book Club, guys. Check you later.
Peace.